everybody, this is Jeff Charlton with Graphic Connections Group. We are Kent Clothier's print and direct mail partners. We just got back from the Find and Flip event in San Diego. I just want to take a little bit of time today to emphasize a few key points that were discussed at that event. One of the things I want to talk about today is using direct mail as a key part of your marketing mix. Most successful real estate investors use direct mail in some way, shape, or form. And the reason why they do that is they realize that if you're not using direct mail as part of your marketing mix, you're leaving money on the table. Let me explain why that is. You see, most of the people that you're going to do business with when you're looking to flip houses are going to be people that tend to be older. They're people that have lived in their house a long time. They have a lot of equity. Maybe the house is run down. Maybe someone died in the family, whatever. The point is it tends to be older people. Well, it's a fact that a lot of older people have not really embraced the digital revolution. They're not looking at Google, or they're not looking at pay-per-click advertising or Facebook, but they all go to their mailbox. In fact, not only do older people go to their mailbox, but 92% of the population still go to their mailbox and flip through their mail one piece at a time to decide which mail they're going to look at and which they're going to throw away. So if you're not using that, you're missing that opportunity to get their attention. Now, you might say direct mail is expensive. Well, it can be more expensive than other marketing means, but that doesn't mean it's not a good idea. Let me use an example. Let's say you can get a lead for $2,000 per deal using Google pay-per-click advertising. And let's say that it costs you $3,000 to get a lead using direct mail. So some people might say, well, gee, if it's $2,000 is cheaper than $3,000, I'd rather do the $2,000 deal. And I'm not saying that's wrong, but the problem is you're missing out on an opportunity. Just because it's flawed thinking to think that you could have gotten the same lead with Google that you got with direct mail. It's two different demographics that might be responding. So the better thought is, why not do both? Why not use Google pay-per-click to get one segment of the population and use direct mail to get to another segment of the population? Because if both deals are profitable, you can still make money at $2,000 and you can still make money at $3,000 per lead. Why not do both and get twice as many leads? So that leads me back to my conclusion that if you're not using direct mail, you're leaving money on the table. Don't leave out any segment of the population. Use all different sorts of marketing. Use direct mail, use pay-per-click, use Facebook, use cold calling, and whatever else you might use. Do it all to hit as wide of a net as you possibly can. The second most important thing to think about when designing a direct mail campaign is to be frequent. What I mean by that is to hit the same list multiple times. Why is that important? It's said in marketing that it takes somewhere between 6 and 23 touches for someone to finally pay attention to you and respond to your message. That doesn't mean you can't get lucky and on the first touch get someone to respond, but on average, people have to see the offer over and over and over again to respond. It's the same reason why when you're watching commercials on TV, you'll see someone play the same commercial 6 times in a 30-minute time period, because they're trying to beat it into your head, their company name and their offer. Direct mail is no different. Hit people multiple times, and you'll have a much better chance of getting their attention. Now, the third most important thing is you need to think about being unique. And the reason that's important, when I say being unique, it means develop mail pieces that are different from your competition. Why is that important? Because the word I just said, competition. And this also relates to the previous point, frequency. In today's world, there are more and more people getting into the real estate house flipping business every single week. There are seminars going on all over the country with experts teaching people how to flip houses. There's tons of TV shows. It's all you hear about. And in fact, since 2009, it's been almost a straight upward curve on people getting into the business. But there's not more deals. So you've got more and more people fighting for the same number of deals. So what does that mean? It means you have to figure out a way to stand out. You do that by being frequent, and you do that by being unique. Now this is where we can help you, because Graphic Connections specializes in developing unique mail pieces. We're the guys that came up with the mail piece. We call it AccuPix mailers. It basically takes the Google Street View image. We pull that down from Google for every name in the list, and we can print that on a postcard and a letter that makes it unique. So when someone's flipping through the mail, they're seeing a picture of their actual house, and that's going to make it stand out. It's going to make that mail piece look different than the other mail pieces. We've also come up with a texting technology that allows you to give a personalized text message that's attached to the list. It's also something unique that other people don't offer. We call that AccuText. We're constantly developing different sizes and shapes and graphics handwritten, or just unique things. We do that all the time. We do that to help you stand out. Size is another big thing. Most people in this industry mail small postcards. Not that there's anything wrong with small postcards, but they're all the same. They don't stand out. They can get lost in a pile of mail. We recommend mailing larger pieces that stand out, whether it's oversized postcards or oversized letters or unique envelopes or whatever. The point is, we specialize in helping you be unique, because being unique and being frequent is a secret to beating the competition out in today's market in the real estate investing industry. Another really important topic in real estate investment direct mail marketing is to understand your numbers. I call it the math of direct mail. Now, a lot of other people will talk about things called KPIs, key performance indicators. Whatever you call it, it doesn't matter. The point is you have to understand how the numbers work so that you can effectively design your campaigns to give you a chance of success. So let me talk about this in further detail. In direct mail, we find that on a national average, it takes about 25 leads to close a deal on average. However you get those leads, it takes about 25 people that have raised their hand and say, hey, I might be interested in selling my house, for you to find one person where you can actually close the deal. So using that number as our base, let's do an example. So if it takes 25 leads to get a deal, how many pieces of mail do you have to mail to get 25 leads? That's the question. A lot of people don't get this. You're kind of going backwards in the math. So I can also tell you in direct mail, we find that when people come to us, they are averaging between 0.5% and 1%. So it's 1/2 of 1% and 1% is their typical average. So I'm going to use 1% as the number just for talking purposes here because it's an easy one to calculate. So if you're getting a 1% response rate and you need 25 leads, doing the math, going backwards, that means you need to mail 2,500 pieces of mail at 1% response to end up with 25 leads. Simple math, okay? A lot of people don't get that. We have a lot of people that come to us that want to mail 100 or 250 or 500. They don't understand that 1% of 100 is 1. What are you going to do with one lead? I don't care how good you are, not too many people are closing deals if they only get one lead. So you got to get enough leads to give you a chance to work the business and work the numbers of the business to close the deals. Obviously, the more the merrier, but you got to have at least a bare minimum amount to be successful. Now, if you do business with people that give you better lists or better mailers, maybe you can do better than 1%. In fact, I can tell you, we typically are able to increase people's response rates by doing business with us through a lot of the things we do, whether it's the pieces of mail that we offer or the way we help them, pick the list. There's all kinds of strategies we use to help you be more successful. Let's just say you can go from 1% to 2%. Well, guess what? All of a sudden, you got twice as many leads for the same money spent. And let me use an example of using actual money. In the real estate marketing business, in direct mail, you're going to spend somewhere between 50 cents and $1 on average per mailer to mail it out. When I say on average, you've got postcards, you've got letters, you've got different envelopes, you've got all kinds of different things you can mail. On average, I'm going to say you're going to spend 75 cents per piece on average to mail. That doesn't mean you can't get mailers for 40 cents. It doesn't mean some people might not spend $2. But on average, we see around 75 cents on average is what people do. So if you take that, and let's just use the math I used earlier. If you need to mail 2,500 pieces of mail at 75 cents, you're going to spend around $2,000 to get that mail out the door. Well, if you get 25 leads from that, you spend $2,000 to get 25 leads. Well, what if you could go from 1% to 2% in your response rate? Guess what? And instead of spending $2,000, you spend $1,000 because you got twice as many leads for the same amount of mail that went out. So the key is make sure you're using mailers that are effective. And by the way, let's say you had to spend a little more for those mailers. Let's say you spent $1 per piece instead of 75 cents, but you got twice as many leads. Well, doing that math, so if you mail 2,500 at $1, that's $2,500, but you brought in 2% response and you got 50 leads and you closed 2 deals, you only spent an extra $500 for the mail, but you got twice as many deals. And if you make $10,000 per deal, then you got an extra $10,000 in your pocket. You spent an extra $500 to get an extra $10,000. So the point is, think about response rates and mailers, get good lists, use good mailers, and understand the math. Understand what it takes to do a successful campaign to get enough leads for you to be successful. Again, this is Jeff Charlton with Graphic Connections Group. We're keeping you connected. Have a great day.